Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel. Peter likes books and I just wanted to have a little convo with you guys. A little talk. I have like several videos that I want to make over here. I want to talk about the most recent misfortune books, and I also want to make a video talking about some of my favorite cozies that I've read, and I want to make another video talking about some of my most anticipated reads coming up. I have several videos. I want to do an Audible haul because I've bought so many books on Audible recently. And I have so many videos that I want to make over here, but because I did this one specific thing, I thought, I'm going to share this with people because I want to see if anybody else relates to this. So, y'all listen. Okay, there were a couple months after I got sick and got pancreatitis that we took months off of True Crime Book Club, and I also took some months off of, I think it was 2 months, maybe 3, from Peter's book club, and then we started back up on July 1st. And we came out with, we're reading the Horrors of Fox Hollow Farms for the July book for True Crime Book Club. And then we're reading Lowcountry Boyle for Peter's book club. Well, it's the last week of July, and Peter still hasn't read these books. And this is kind of what happens. I always kind of wait till the last minute. And part of it with a True Crime Book Club, honestly, is that if I read the book first at the month, by the time that we have the live stream, I have forgotten a lot of, because I've read, let's say, 4 or 5 books in between there, that I have forgotten a lot of what I read or things that were important to me. So sometimes I try to wait and have that be like one of the last books until we do the live stream. But the other night, okay, so we went on vacation, and I was doing pretty good up till that point, like listening to audiobooks and things like that. I've been kind of, I'm not really reading a lot of physical books. I'm listening to audiobooks and Audible. And up until that point, like, I did really good. Like, I was really, you know, on this kind of like reading deal, and I was like back and I was motivated again, and I had read like 4 or 5 books. That was the other thing I was going to do, I was going to do a wrap up for the last month of all the books that I'd read and stuff like that. So anyway, I was kind of like speeding up my reading, and I was like, oh, you were like kind of in a reading slump for a while, and now you're out of that. And, okay, this is good, and you love to read, and I have all these books that I want to read, right? So I was like, okay, you're out of this reading slump. So then I go on vacation, and I can't even remember which book I read on vacation, but I got done with the book, and then I started this book that my book club partner Mel recommended to me, called The Recovery Agent by Janet Ivanovich. And I have to tell you, like, I sped through this book so fast. Like, I listened to like the first fourth of it, and then like the last 3/4 of it, I was so bored. Which then I told her, I said, I think I'm gonna go back and re-listen to it, because I was listening to the end of it, and I was kind of like, I have missed so much of this book just sitting there, because I would like sit on the front porch and I would just like listen to it, and I would just like go through my social media and stuff, and I wasn't really paying attention to it. And then the book was over, and then when the book ended, I was like, oh, well, like, now I think I would have really liked this book. So I said, I think after I get some of these books done, I'm going to go back and I'm going to listen to it. Okay. I had been waiting to read this T.J. Newman book because I read T.J. Newman's Falling when it came out like 2 years ago or last year, and I loved it. So T.J. Newman is a flight attendant that wrote her first book over about 10 years while she was a flight attendant on planes. And her first book was called Falling, and it was about... I think they're turning it into a TV show, actually. And it was a movie or a TV show, but I think a TV series. And it was about, what do you call it? It was about a pilot whose plane was hijacked, and he had to, like, take down the plane or his family would be killed. And, I mean, it was such a tense thriller. I loved that book. So, she had a second one that just came out, and it's called Drowning, and I was really excited to read it. I don't know if I thought that it would be real similar to it or not. I just finished it last night. I think I started it I started it after I got done with The Recovery Agent, because the book is about a plane that goes into the ocean. And since we were flying over the ocean on our way back from our trip to Mexico, I didn't want to read a book while I was on the plane about a plane going down in the ocean. So I waited until I got back. But I was really excited about reading this book. And I was so not into this book. I just have to tell you. I don't know, like I was comparing them too much between the two. But I'm sitting there and I'm like literally like, this was this weekend. I was like, I am not going to finish these books. Like I am getting to the end of July and I am not going to finish these books because I still have the True Crime Book Club to read, which is very short. It's like 5.5, 6 hours. About the horrors of Fox Hollow Farms, about Herb Baumeister, the serial killer. And I was like, and I still have to read the book for Peter's Book Club, which everybody is saying they're loving. And I'm like so excited to read it because it's a cozy and I can just read cozies constantly, right? So I'm like, okay, I gotta get to these books. So this weekend, in my notes app, like I'm obsessed with making notes in my notes app. Do you guys do that? Okay, so in my notes app, I made a note called book reading. And I went in and I like figured out how long the books are, and I listened to all my audiobooks at 2 times speed. Sometimes I listen to them at 2 times 5 speed, depending on what they are. I feel like one of my pieces of hair is just like sticking out right here. Like the Misfortune books I listen to at 2 times 5 speed because the narrator, she speaks very slowly in the narration and I can follow along really well with that. So I just kind of tried to figure it out at 2 times speed. So I had Monday and Tuesday Drowning, and then I was going to finish Drowning, which I actually finished it last night. And then Wednesday and Thursday, Fox Hollow Farms. And I have down here how long I have to listen to each of it. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, Lowcountry Boil. Okay? And I made this whole schedule so that I can keep up with it and get it all done. I'm very proud, you guys. I have to tell you. So, Monday, I listened to an hour and a half of Drowning. Tuesday, I listened to an hour and a half of Drowning. I finished Drowning last night. Now, it's Wednesday, and last night I started the Horrors of Fox Hollow Farms. Hold on a second. And I currently have, I don't know how, it doesn't say how long you're into it, but I have an hour and 22 minutes left, which I'll easily finish tonight. So I'm like a whole day ahead of my schedule. Can we get a round of applause for Peter okay, so I'm going to probably finish 3 books this week, which I'm very proud of myself. But you know what's so funny? I just have to say, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but like when I'm in a reading slump, like I, for the life of me, cannot DNF a book. Like I'm not going to say I've never done it. There have been books that I've DNF'd. There's even been books like True Crime Book Club that I've DNF'd or Peter's Book Club that I've DNF'd, right? But I struggle so hard that if I get into a book, like I feel like I have to finish it. And like The Recovery Agent, which I think is actually a pretty good book, but when I started listening to it, I was not in the mood to listen to it. I got it because it's like this treasure hunt kind of mystery book, and so I thought it'd be really fun while I was on vacation. Because it takes place in Peru and things like that. And I know, Mexico, Peru, it doesn't make sense, but it did to me in my head. So I was very excited to read it while I was on vacation. Well, I didn't start it until like the last day of vacation or something like that, right? So it was totally pointless. And then when I got back, I just wasn't really in the mood to read it. I should have just stopped it and read something else. Like I should have gone right into Drowning. And then when I got into Drowning, I was like, this isn't it either. I should have gone right into something else. Because last night listening to The Horrors of Fox Hollow Farms, I was like, okay, this is now, I'm in this real true crime period right now. I've been watching this show I've been watching a lot of true crime documentaries. And I just found this series, which probably many of you know about, which is called Murder in the Heartland. And each episode is like a completely different story. And so I'm like really into the true crime right now. So when I was listening to the Horrors of Fox Hollow Farms, which is actually more of a paranormal book, I was like, okay, this is what I've been wanting to read, but I also miss the cozies. And do you guys have a hard time doing that? Like when you start a book, do you have a hard time DNFing it? I love when I read the comments and people are like, if I start a book and I don't like it, I just stop reading, I DNF it, which is do not finish. I wish I could do that. But I'm on track. So by the end of this week, or Monday, by the end of July, I will have both of the books for July done because I'm not going to get behind. I refuse to allow myself to get behind, and I'm really excited. Well, I'm almost done with the true crime book, but I'm really excited to get into Peter's Book Club book, Lowcountry Boil, because so many people have really enjoyed it. So, anyway, just wanted to share with you about my reading schedule and ask you guys if you struggle with the DNFing books as well. So let me know in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.